All right. Good evening to all the guests and appointees. Thank you for being here this evening. For those of you that have come a long way, I'm going to try to move you around and let you out early so you can go to a restaurant if you'd like or head home. But we have quite a few on this evening, so we're going to jump right in. And the first up will be Special Court of Appeals, Ann Albright, and I guess you have to swear her in. Yeah. Okay.
Do you solemnly swear, under the penalties of perjury, that the statements you make and the testimony you give before this committee will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, thank you. Senator Lee would ordinarily introduce you, but I think her committee is still voting. So if you'd like, just say a little something about yourself and then anything else you have to say.
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman Young, Vice Chairman Beidel, President Ferguson. My name is Ann Albright. I'm a Circuit Court Judge from Montgomery County, Maryland. Thank you for welcoming me tonight, my husband Jeffrey, my son Jack, to Annapolis. I want to thank Governor Hogan publicly for appointing me to the Court of Special Appeals and for his faith and confidence in me in this position. As I said, for 10 years, it's been my privilege to serve the people of Montgomery County as a Circuit Court Judge. During this time, I've handled all of the kinds of cases that our court gets, and I've seen what a critical role our courts serve and the importance of the rule of law. I would be honored to serve the people of our state by joining the Court of Special Appeals, and I would be privileged to have your support tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? It appears not. I'm getting off very easy. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, is Senator Elfreth here? Oh, there you are. We'll start with the Affordable Housing Trust Board of Trustees and Albert Winchester.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee. Here to very proudly stand and recommend Albert Winchester. As many folks know him here, I actually didn't think about it twice. Buzz Winchester, can I call you Buzz? Okay, so folks know he's a very familiar face to us. He was Director of Legislative Relations for the Maryland State Bar Association for a number of years. Worked with our trade council, very involved in historic issues, resident of Galesville, Maryland. Just an all-around incredible person, and will give his all to this commission, and I highly recommend his nomination. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Mr. Chairman, 30 years ago when this legislation was passed, I was, as Senator Elfreth has said, I was the legislative director for the Maryland State Bar Association and worked very hard, along with a few of you who were in the legislature at that time, whether in the House of Delegates or in the Senate, to get this legislation passed. And I am a charter member of the trust, and in thinking back, just as many of you, with all of your accomplishments as public servants, and thinking back on my career, this is one of the really good things I did. And I hope you'll allow me to continue by confirming my nomination. Thank you.
Senator Lee just came in and wants to say something about the judge.
Committee, I apologize. I was in a Judicial Proceedings Committee voting session, and we got carried away, as you know that committee, right? So, I know that you've probably heard from Judge Albright already, but I'm very honored and privileged to support her nomination to the Court of Special Appeals for Maryland. And I thank Governor Hogan for this really outstanding appointment of Judge Albright. She already serves in the Montgomery County Circuit Court, where she has presided over a myriad of different issues dealing with family law, civil, criminal, and complex commercial cases. And of course, prior to serving on the Circuit Court, Judge Albright served both in the public and private sector, including being the managing member of Albright and Rhodes, and she also served as an assistant public defender, and she clerked for U.S. District Court of Maryland, Judge Norman Ramsey. And of course, despite her busy schedule, she's always been active in the community, and she's also worked very hard to gain access for vulnerable communities of color, and immigrant communities so that they can have access to our justice system. She served on many panels and commissions such as the Montgomery County Commission on Child Care, the Criminal Justice Act Felony Panel for the U.S. District Court for Maryland, and the Court Access and Community Relations Committee, and so many other committees. Won't go into all of them. We'll be here all day. And she's worked tirelessly for her for not only for her county, but for our state. And she received her bachelor's from Dartmouth College and JD from Georgetown University Law Center. And she's married to Gottfried Rowland Watson, who's a professor emeritus at the Columbus School of Law at Catholic University. And she is the mother of John and Madeline Watson. I urge your favorable vote on this wonderful, outstanding candidate for Court of Special Appeals, Judge Ann Albright. Thank you for your indulgence, and I apologize for being late.
Okay, thank you. All right, I am going to jump around a little to take people that came a long distance, and then we'll go back in order. So right now, let's move down to the Natalie LaPrade Medical Cannabis Commission, and we'll start with Terrence Moore and Senator Quarterman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and colleagues. For the record, Senator Paul Quarterman, District 2, Washington County. I am pleased to have this opportunity to introduce to you this evening Mr. Terrence Moore, who has been nominated to serve on the Natalie LaPrade Medical Cannabis Commission. Mr. Moore's resume is highly commended. His professional experience in the financial industry, project management, mediation services, and human resources are just a few of the assets that he brings to this position. He is the owner of Terrence Moore Consulting, LLC, which is a small business consulting firm here in Washington County. His ambition does not stop here, though, as he also serves as the Executive Director and President for the Community Mediation Maryland Center, as well as the Program Manager for New Development and Product Development at JLG Industries. Mr. Moore is a licensed Maryland State insurance producer, a real estate agent in both Maryland and Pennsylvania, a Society of Human Resources Management certified professional, a project management certified professional, as well as a notary public. I fully support the nomination of Mr. Moore, and therefore thank the Commission for seeing him here this evening.
Okay, Mr. Moore.
Thank you. First, I would like to publicly thank Governor Hogan for this nomination. Also, I'd like to thank the Senate Executive Nomination Committee for taking the time to consider me for this confirmation. It truly would be an honor to serve on this commission and serve the people of Maryland. So hopefully you can take into consideration my expertise and as well as my passion for community and allow me to serve in this commission. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Apparently not, so thank you.
Thank you.
The nominees can come to the podium and speak if they'd like. And the chairs are there, but if you'd like to go to the podium, it's available. Let's go to the Economic Development Commission. Julie Lenzer, Senator Elfreth. She's not here. Oh, I'm sorry. You speak for her if you, I guess.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I am here to give a very strong recommendation for reappointment for Julie Lenzer to the Maryland Economic Development Commission. Julie just started a new job in New Hampshire, so she's been away quite a bit. She still lives right here in Eastport. She was detained today, which is why she couldn't be here with you all, but you can see in her resume her deep commitment to this state, whether it be in Howard County for the University of Maryland. She has incredible background in technology and innovation, two fields that I think do serve her well on this commission. And while she is not here, I would ask the Executive Nominations Committee to please consider her renomination.
Stay up there after this. I'm going to let you do the next two.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. It's my pleasure, real pleasure, when you see her resume, and it's many things that she's involved in. She's definitely qualified to be on the Economic Development Commission. Melissa graduated from Leadership Washington County class. She's Washington County Chamber of Commerce, NFIB, American Fire and Sprinkler Association, Greater Hagerstown Committee, and the Arts and Entertainment Advisory Council. I don't know where she finds all the time to do this. Plus, she's involved in all these businesses. Noel's Fire Protection, Noel's Realty Holdings, Williamsport Yarn Closet, the Ice Cream Shop, and Noel's Fire Protection and Management Services. So she's well versed in a lot of businesses and starting them and continuing them to operate, so I'm sure she'll be a big plus to the commission. I highly recommend and ask you to support her recommendation.
Okay.
Good evening. I would like to thank Governor Hogan for the appointment to the Maryland Department of Economic Commission. I am from a family that consists of generations of blue-collar workers, so this very moment is quite humbling for us. Thank you, Senator Edwards, for the wonderful introduction, and thank you to the Senate Executive Nominating Committee for your time and consideration. I submitted my application to serve on the Department of Economic Commission because I've always had an interest in the thought process behind legislative policy development, specifically in the financial effect on a business and their employees. As a business owner, I view my role to be in service to others. I have a responsibility not only to my employees, but also to my community. I believe the opportunity to serve on the Maryland Department of Economic Commission is the next step. Do you have any questions that I can answer for you?
Okay. Are there any questions? Very good. Thank you. And we will go to the Land Reclamation Committee and start with Jeffrey Barclay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members of the committee, Jeff Barkley is up for reappointment. He's been on this commission, I think, for several times. We do still do mining in my neck of the woods because all coal does not go to produce energy. It goes to make hundreds of products. So we still are in that business and shipping coal all over the place. Right now, he's currently the Economic Development Director for Allegheny County, and he was assistant for many, many years. And he's a planner. He was in the Planning Commission with Allegheny County. He's done a great job while he's been there, and I'm sure he'll continue to do that great job that he does. And I highly recommend Jeff to you for appointment, reappointment.
Yes. Thank you. I, too, would like to thank Governor Hogan for the nomination. I thank this Senate committee here for consideration, and I thank the good senator here for his recommendation. Yes, I've been doing this since 2015, and it kind of comes full circle for me because out of college, I actually worked for a consultant that would do mining permits, and now it's, with me sitting in the economic development, now I'm looking to, consider these planting reports and approving them when they're satisfactory. So, again, if you folks would have any questions for me, I would be glad to answer that or answer them. Questions? Yes. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay. Timothy Schwinebart. Senator Edwards.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm here to highly recommend Mr. Schweinebart to you. I've known him for a long time also. He's been on this many years. This is a reappointment. He has an engineering degree in mining. He's also an owner, operator, so he knows what's going on. He wants to make sure the business and industry does what's right, so it has a clean sheet that you look at. He's done a tremendous job over the years, and I would ask that hopefully you would reappoint Tim to this board.
Good evening. I'd like to again thank the governor for this nomination and this committee for their time and confirmation this evening. George mentioned that it's a reappointment. I've been on this commission as the industry representative for 26 years and have enjoyed serving the citizens of Maryland during that time. Would like to continue doing that in another term. As you can see in my resume, I have 40-plus years of experience in the mining industry where, as George said, family-owned and operated. We're actually in our 62nd year of operation. So would appreciate your support in this nomination. Any questions?
I would note that just because there aren't any, everybody has your resumes and has looked at them, and if they like what they see and you've got a record, that's probably why there's no questions. Believe me, if they have any, they'll ask them.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's go to the State Board of Education and Senator Carrozza. And Marin Thomas.
Hold up, Mary. Good evening, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. I am just thrilled tonight to be able to introduce to you Marin Thomas, who's been nominated to the State Board of Education. And I have to tell you that it really says something about a student when your counselor and your principal write your letters and encourage you to do something at this leadership level. I also am glad that her parents could join us. Her father works for the Department of Labor, and her mom works for Tidal Health in Salisbury. So we welcome them as well. And I wanted to just let you know that I'm very impressed, and I think you all will be as well, with Marin's credentials. She's been a mentor, she's been a creative writer, she's been on honor roll since 2019. She's with the National Honor Society. She speaks a couple different languages, Hindi and Malayalam. And what I really noted in her background that she shared with us is that she wants to be a voice for the Eastern Shore, and that she recognizes that when you come from the shore and some of the smaller counties that you have to exert your voice and be representative. And she makes a note that she wants to go to bat for those who are underprivileged on the shore as well. So with that, I recommend introduce Marin Thomas to you and support her nomination to serve on the State Board of Education.
Excuse me. Proceed.
Good afternoon, members of the committee. My name is Marin Thomas, and I'm a junior at James A. Bennett High School. I've come here with both my parents, Thomas Abraham and Rena Thomas, who have worked very hard for me to be here. Firstly, I would like to start off with thanking each of you for coming to this hearing and taking time out of your busy schedules to be here. I would also like to thank Governor Hogan for appointing me to become the next student member of the Maryland Board of Education. I'm so grateful to hopefully become the next opportunity and the next voice for all students in Maryland, and I know I will carry this title with pride, just like our current SMOB, Kevin Boca. If the Executive Nominations Committee has any questions for me, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Thomas, it is a pleasure to have you here tonight, and just want to say keep up the great work, and thanks to Mom and Dad, who I think are also here tonight, and appreciate the great work that you all have done to help Ms. Thomas be in front of us, and I'm sure you'll be an excellent voice, not just for the Eastern Shore, of course, and for all the students in the state of Maryland. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to thank the young lady, and I saw on her paperwork her self-made project, the Women's Drive. Very impressive, very creative. Thank you for just giving to others who are less fortunate. So
Thank you so
just wanted to
much.
acknowledge that.
Thank you. Let's go to the Board of Trustees of the Maryland School for the Deaf, and Robert Perkey and Senator Carrozza.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the courtesy, and I'm here to introduce and support the nomination of Mr. Michael Perky. He's been nominated to the Board of Trustees for the Maryland School for the Deaf. And I have to tell you, I've been quite impressed. He currently is serving as Executive Director of the Deaf Independent Living Association in Salisbury, which serves both those who are deaf and developmentally disabled, placing them in homes and also with work placements as well, very much needed on the shore. Prior to that, he was in Cambridge working at Chimes, again, in the same line of work. In addition to his qualifications to serving on the Board of Trustees for the Maryland School for the Deaf, I just also wanted to note his involvement in the community, making an extra effort to serve on the local chambers of commerce, Rotary, past president of the Wycomico County Council PTA, and I think this says a lot with the type of intense work that he does on a daily basis, then to also be so involved in our community. So I'm proud to introduce and support his nomination to the Board of Trustees to the Maryland School for the Deaf, Mr. Perky.
Okay.
Thank you. Excuse me. I too would like to thank Governor Hogan for the nomination and for you guys for taking all the time that you have. If you pick up the accent, it's Tennessean. I haven't picked up Salisbury in 37 years. I don't know why. Really looking forward to the possibility of working with the School for the Deaf on the Board of Trustees and moving that organization into the next chapter as they look, search for their next superintendent. So if you have any questions, I would be happy to field them.
Okay, are there?
Mr. Chair.
Senator Lamb.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Perky, it was good to have the opportunity to meet with you this afternoon. I appreciate the time, and also, it was good to hear your perspective about some of the challenges that the School for the Deaf has had over the last couple of years, and appreciated your thoughtfulness and insight into the direction that you would like to see the school go in the future. Obviously, the board plays a very important role, and it was great to hear kind of your thought process in the selection for the next superintendent for the school, which is obviously very important. So I want to thank you again for being here for us and also for the time to be able to meet this afternoon.
And thank you for inviting me.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else? If not, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
And we'll finish that board with Dr. Mark Rust and Senator Huff here. Yes.
Thank you very much. And we're actually down voting committee. If there's any way after this we could do Maria Rodriguez, I would appreciate it if possible. She's a Maryland Health Benefit Exchange Board. Well, thank you very much. Dr. Rust is an associate professor of education and former chair of ASL studies and deaf education at McDaniel College. Dr. Rust has a bachelor's degree in elementary education, deaf education from the University of Northern Colorado, a master's in deaf education, and a PhD in adult education. Dr. Rust currently serves on the board for the National Deaf Education Conference, was a longtime instructor at the Maryland School for the Deaf. Dr. Rust will be an asset to the Board of Trustees for the School for the Deaf, and I urge the committee to approve his nomination.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Rust.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, and honorable senators. I am Mark Rust, as you heard. I started my professional career at the Maryland School for the Deaf in 1981. I taught for 22 years at the Maryland School for the Deaf in both elementary and high school, as well as co-produced their high school productions for 17 years before making the leap to higher ed. And I made the leap to McDaniel College. It just became McDaniel College in 2002, so I was never under Western Maryland College. And I run the Deaf Education Graduate Program there, and I've been doing that for 18 and a half years, as well as being the chair of ASL Undergraduate Studies, as you just heard. The unique piece that is interesting with MSD is just the fact that teaching elementary for some time, teaching high school for some time, teaching graduate for some time. I've taught some students on the graduate level that I taught on the elementary level. So it's just kind of neat to see the whole cycle go through as an educator to see that happen. I appreciate the nomination committee for the board of MSD as well as the governor in putting my name forward. I appreciate your time for considering my name, and I look forward to a favorable vote and bringing my name to the Senate to be serving the deaf community as I will be in my retirement since I retired January 1st.
Okay, thank you. Well, I am a Western Maryland graduate. I didn't make McDaniel.
I know there are people like that.
And I've been very involved with the School for the Deaf for years and going to stay that way. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you.
Oh, Senator Lamb. Okay.
Sure. So thank you, Dr. Rust, again, for the opportunity to meet this afternoon. Appreciated your thoughts on the direction of where the school should go. Obviously, we spoke through some of the challenges that the school has seen over the last couple of years, and I appreciate your recognition of some of the issues and appreciation of the need to give some really dedicated attention to the superintendent selection moving forward. And so certainly appreciate your willingness to step up into this role, even in your retirement, to put time into this very important effort. So thank you for being here this afternoon.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Senator Bidle?
It gets so confusing. Mr. Russ, thank you very much for being here, and I want to echo what Senator Lamb has said. I think your experience is going to bring a lot to that board. I do have some serious complaints from parents. I represent Northern Anne Arundel County, so my students go and stay at the school. But I do hope that you'll address some of those issues and find us a really good new superintendent. But thank you for your service.
It's a shame they're without a superintendent for 2 years now, so
Yes.
we do need to get that going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I've been asked to submit to serve on that board after I'm out of office, so I know which two senators I'm going to have to talk to. Okay, Senator Huff, you have number 8, yes. The Health Benefit Exchange Board and Maria Rodriguez.
Thank you very much for helping me out here. Mr. Rodriguez graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Criminal Justice from John Jay College in New York. She's worked for many years as a paralegal and legal secretary. She now owns her own small business, MPR Business Solutions, based in Montgomery Village. Her business provides consulting, paralegal, interpreter, translator, notary, and administrative services. In addition to running her own business, she is the executive director of the Maryland Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. She'll be an asset to the Health Benefit Exchange Board, and I urge a favorable vote.
Okay, Ms. Rodriguez.
Thank you so much. Buenas noches. My name is Maria Pilar Rodriguez, and as you heard, I'm a Latina small business owner in Montgomery County. I am a Frederick resident, and I want to thank Governor Hogan and the commission here for this nomination. I look forward to bringing my best as I can. I've been involved with the Latino community, the Chambers of Commerce, and many other organizations, just doing what's right, bringing diversity and inclusion to our community. So I look forward to this nomination and bringing all my best in both languages. Thank you. Any questions?
Senator King.
Thank you for bringing your business to Montgomery Village.
Oh, yes, yes, it's great. It's doing great there. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, if not, thank you.
Buenas noches.
I have a couple people I'm going to pick off committees and then go back to the full committees later. Senator Lee has to get down to a vote, so we will do from Maryland Public-Private Partnership Marketing Corporation Board of Directors. Okay. We'll do 23, Laura Van Hepren. Senator Lee.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to introduce and urge your support for Laura Van Hepren, who's been nominated, sit down there, Lauren, for reappointment to the Maryland Public-Private Partnership Marketing Corporation by Governor Hogan. We thank Governor Hogan for this reappointment. She currently serves as the vice chair of the partnership and has a distinguished career for nearly over 30 years in communications and news media. She received her BA from the University of Wisconsin, and she's the founder and CEO of Foundry, which serves both public and private clients, and was a senior account supervisor of White and Balducci and the Mueller Communications. She's also been a news reporter, an anchorwoman, and a manager for the Capitol News Service, as well as a news reporter and anchor of the CBS affiliate of WCTV-TV News and another CBS affiliate, KTVS-TV3 News, and she has received many awards and recognitions for her work. She'll be able to build on her track record and help carry out the important mission work of the Public-Private Partnership Marketing Corporation. I give you Ms. Laura Van Eperen.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate the nomination very much from the governor and the consideration of everyone serving here in the committee, and am honored to be reappointed as a nominee to the partnership and serve along many of my colleagues behind me to really benefit the state and promote this as being such a wonderful state, internally as well as externally, from an economic development standpoint. We all know we live and enjoy a great state, and we're always looking to attract more residents as well as businesses, so I'm honored of your consideration today.
Thank you. Any questions? If not, thank you. Okay, I'm going to try to get the JPR out of here so they can go vote. Stadium Authority of Maryland, Leonard Atman, Senator Hedelman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee. For the record, I'm Shelley Hedelman from District 11 in Baltimore County, and I'm very pleased to introduce my constituent, Lenny Atman, who is before you for reappointment to the Maryland Stadium Authority. He is the founder and chairman of the board of the A&G Management Company and the chairman of the board of Atman Properties Company. He manages lots of commercial properties and office space located in Baltimore County, Baltimore City, and Anne Arundel County, serving over 100 businesses. He's the founder and chairman of the board of directors of Future Care Health and Management Corporation. He is also attended the University of Maryland and has been involved in many, many philanthropic organizations, professional and civic organizations across the state. He's on the boards of many institutions, Sinai Hospital, the Neurosurgery Advisory Board at Johns Hopkins, the Advisory Board for Shock Trauma, LifeBridge. He served on the former State of Maryland Drug Abuse Authority, and he is on the board of directors of the Reginald Lewis Museum also. He was one of the original founders of the Genesee School, and I didn't know this. I just learned something that you are, he was responsible for the building of the first condominium in Baltimore. I'm very pleased today to recommend Mr. Leonard Atman for reappointment to the Maryland Stadium Authority. Thank you.
Okay. Yep.
Thank you, Senator Hedelman. Thank you very much for being here and for your praise and introduction. I want to thank Governor Hogan for my nomination to the Maryland Stadium Authority and the chairman and the entire Senate Executive Nominations Committee for allowing me to be here and appear in front of you. The Maryland Stadium Authority holds and continues to hold great interest to me to serve our citizens around the state and to express my years of expertise in real estate management, construction, and contractual participation. Should any of the members here have any questions, I'd be more than glad to answer. And I'm also glad to be able to continue my dedicated tenure in the Maryland Stadium Authority with the members that have been there before. And it's been a labor of love to me to work with each administration and the staff and our present chairman, Tom Kelso.
Okay. Senator Lee? I mean, Senator, yes, Kelly.
Colleagues, I want you to know that Lenny Atman is a good friend and a very great civil rights advocate, a person who's very multicultural. Almost 40 years ago, when some of us decided we needed a minority-controlled bank with a bank charter in the state of Maryland, there weren't any at that time. Lenny was one of the first people on board to help us to raise the money for what is now the Harbor Bank of Maryland. And he served with me on that bank board for many years. He did amazing work on our behalf. He's really interfaith, multicultural, and a great mind if you're trying to strategize about economic development. We're still good buddies and good friends, and I think you're a great person to be on that board.
Thank you.
Senator Vital.
Thank you. I'm happy to have a turn. Mr. Atman, it's so good to see you here tonight, and I want to thank you for the wonderful projects you've put in my district, but also for your philanthropy. I mean, I see your name on so many hospitals, so you really have shared. I do have one question for you. When do you ever sleep?
During the day.
Thank you for all your service.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Oh, Senator Kelly.
What Lenny was a part of was so radical at that time that the day after we got our bank charter from the state of Maryland, the bank commissioner was fired. His name was Holden Gibbs. Lenny is a civil rights advocate too. Okay.
Senator Hayes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Atman, I hear you have a lot of accolades, and I know you've been very successful in Baltimore. I'm a little concerned about your reappointment to the Stadium Authority only because this legislature and the governor has made a commitment to Pimlico and Laurel Park. I know that you've expressed openly and publicly some reservations about that investment. And I would like for you today to give us some type of reassurance that despite your overall objections or whatever they may be as it relates to the investment, and is one of the most historic and oldest urban renewals in this country, that and the type of investment that we've committed as a legislature in this neighborhood that have seen huge disinvestment, that you will carry out your role in a stadium authority and making sure that this commitment is held to.
Appreciate the question, and it's a very serious one, and one that we need to consider. I expect to do the same diligence of research before I decide on what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it for the best of the citizens of the state of Maryland, and for keeping what we already have here and not lose what we already have, as we've seen that happen once and twice before. So I appreciate your question, and I can guarantee you that it gets a lot of thought before I decide in which direction to go. And I know that all of you do the same thing in your diligent preparations and research, and I'm glad to be available anytime that anybody wants to talk to me at length about it, rather than just in the committee.
With all due respect, Mr. Atman, you haven't answered my question. The question was, the legislature has already made a decision on its commitment to both Pimlico and to Laurel. The Stadium Authority's responsibility is to make sure that the projects that come before it is compliant with the vision that the legislature has already set. And so my question is about your disagreement with the legislature and the governor and its commitment to these two projects going forward.
Who said that I was opposed to it?
I believe I've heard you publicly say that you was opposed to it. Is
Said-
that not true?
I never said I've been opposed to the racetrack at all. As a matter of fact, whatever economic development that the racetrack is proposing is good for Sinai Hospital, which I've been a board member for many decades, and any economic gift that we could get to enhance the hospital and the area of Pimlico certainly would be good, as long as the man does it, or whoever is going to develop it, does it in a right and proper manner.
Thank you, Mr. Atman, for answering my question and your commitment to
Thank you. I
seeing
didn't
this
hear
through.
it before, so I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
None? Thank you. Okay, let's go to Higher Education Commission. Senator West, Barbara Kerr-Howe.
I'm going to stand next.
Okay. Mr. Chair and colleagues, it is indeed a pleasure to introduce to you Barbara Kerr-Howe. Judge Howe was a member of the Circuit Court for Baltimore County for 13 years. She spent 4 of those years as the administrative judge in charge of the court. She has had a legendary career in Baltimore County. She is a treasure of the state of Maryland. She has been a member of the University of Maryland Law School Board of Visitors since 2002, and she was the chair of the Board of Trustees of the Community College of Baltimore County. So not only is she a judicial giant, but also she has committed a large amount of her time dealing with higher education. And it's a pleasure to introduce her to you as a nominee to the Maryland Higher Education Commission.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator West. It certainly is a pleasure to be here. I am honored to have been recommended for appointment to the Maryland Higher Education Commission, and I thank all of you for taking time from your schedules as busy senators to hold these hearings for the Executive Committee. I look forward to serving on MHEC, which is how I know it, the Maryland Higher Education Commission. Since serving as a member of as the chair of the Board of Trustees of the Community College of Baltimore County, I have continued to be interested in the workings and substance of matters involving higher education. I'm familiar with the CADE formula. When I was the president of the Community College of Baltimore County, I had the pleasure of attending some meetings that had to do with all of the community colleges in Maryland here in Annapolis. The meetings took place. I continue to serve as a senior judge, sitting actively in trying cases. I have a 10-day trial coming up in April, and serving as a settlement court judge in many jurisdictions. In September of 2021, I decided that I would no longer conduct my arbitration and mediation business, so I have plenty of time to volunteer for additional work. And if you have any questions, please just ask. And I thank Senator West for that glowing introduction. Any questions? Thank you so much.
Any questions or comments? If not, thank you. And Senator West, will try to finish you up. Back to the Maryland Public-Private Partnership Marketing Corporation Board of Directors, and Alexandra Von Paris.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and colleagues. I'm so pleased that you were able to move the members of JPR early, because we have a voting session going on 2 floors down. Actually, if you wanted to hold me here for another hour so I wouldn't have to take a very difficult vote, that would be fine with me.
That's what we're talking about right now.
So I'm here now to introduce Alexandra Lynn Von Paris to you, who's a nominee for the Maryland Public-Private Partnership Marketing Corporation. She's a very interesting person. She graduated from Delaney High School in my district, and then the University of Maryland in College Park in 2012. While she was a sophomore, she founded her own company called Route 1 Apparel. And she's continued to run that company for the intervening 12 years, and it's now become a very significant company in Maryland. So this is a genuine entrepreneur standing in front of you today. The other thing I wanted to mention, what I found from her resume, was that she donated $2 million worth of face masks to local hospitals, schools, and frontline workers during the pandemic. If that isn't public-spirited, I don't know what is.
Thank you for the introduction. Thank you, members of this committee, for your time today. I also want to thank the governor for his nomination. I am honored to be here. I'm so excited to be nominated for this board. I've served time on other boards and have rotated off, like the tourism board, where I remember being in this room several years ago. And I also serve as a volunteer on the Robert H. Smith School of Business School Board, as well as University Systems of Maryland. So I do like to have some free time dedicated to volunteerism. As Mr. West has stated, I started my business when I was 19. I'm a first-generation college student, and I had the opportunity to start a business while I was in school. And it's all about Maryland pride. And the one thing that's been true for those 11, 12 years is I make and design clothing that evokes a positive feeling about this state and try to bring the whole community together. And so when I was asked to join this board, I thought, you know, this is a great alignment. And I definitely feel like I could add some value to the board with just the way that I've grown my business and, you know, the type of customers that I focus on, which is obviously a lot of Marylanders. So I appreciate your time. And if anyone has any questions or comments or anything like that, I'm happy to answer them.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Senator Vital.
Thank you. Thank you for the great face masks, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm on your site frequently purchasing, and I love the Maryland apparel, but your face masks were perfect. So thank you, and thank you for that donation.
Of course. Thanks.
Say the same thing. I love Maryland graduates, and I've bought online many times and had the face mask too. Got a lot of my pins there.
Yeah, and you know, to think 2 years ago today, we weren't sure if we were gonna be in business, and it took a long time for us to decide to make masks, and I wanted to make sure it was a give back aspect to that, and it was really surreal how much we were able to donate. We donated to every fire hall, police station, hospital. We just went down the list, so. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Senator Rosenbaum?
Yeah, thank you. I've been a fan of you and your company for a long time, and have worn the masks and recommended where to get masks over the last 2 years, the place to go. But the other thing I want to say, which is sort of local to College Park, is several years ago, my friends at the university decided they didn't want to call Route 1 Route 1. They wanted to call it Baltimore Avenue.
It was heartbreaking, wasn't it?
It was heartbreaking. And the two people, at least in my world, that were most upset about it were Congressman Steny Hoyer and me. And so I was so glad that your company is named Route 1 Apparel. And I just want to say we all appreciate that in
Yes.
College Park. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Anyone else? If not, thank you.
Thank you.
We have one more JPR person to free up. So Senator Jackson, People Insurance Council, Office of the Attorney General, Dorianne Malloy.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, since I'm being recorded, I want to make sure you know that
Yes,
I'm no longer in JPR.
I forgot
I served with you on budget and capital. You know, in all honesty, so. But I do appreciate that.
Now that Will's gone,
that.
we both escaped over to, go ahead.
I hope that's not a premonition there, so.
Senator Reedy's gone too.
Yeah, he's having a good time over here. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the Executive Nomination Committee. For the record, Senator Michael Jackson, representing District 27, and introducing Ms. Dorian Malloy, who's been nominated to serve as the People's Insurance Counsel in the Office of the Attorney General. Ms. Malloy has an extensive professional background, having been a barred attorney in Maryland since '85, having served in various other prominent positions within the Attorney General's office, the Office of the State's Attorney of Prince George's and Dorchester counties. Additionally, Ms. Malloy has been both an instructor and guest lecturer at Catholic University Columbia School of Law, providing training to national, state, and local officers of the court. She is a true leader in her profession, and I have great confidence she'll continue to provide exemplary public service as the People's Insurance Counsel for the Office of the Attorney General I present, and I recommend wholeheartedly Ms. Malloy.
Thank you, Senator Jackson. Mr. Chair and Senators, thank you very much for this opportunity to speak with you and for your kind words, Senator Jackson. I want to thank Attorney General Brian Frosch for appointing me to the position of the People's Insurance Counsel, pending the advice and consent of the Senate. I joined the People's Insurance Counsel Division in June of 2021 after having been with the Office of Attorney General since 2012. The People's Insurance Council continues to meet its legislative mandate to review homeowners' insurance and medical professional liability matters, including the insurance rating filings and complaints. We continue to guard the state's resources to meet these mandates. The People's Insurance Council intends to engage in both outreach, virtually in person, in all areas of the state. In my prior litigation through representing correctional officers throughout the state of Maryland, I've had an opportunity both professionally to meet with many folks throughout the state and consumers, and feel it's important that we, in fact, reach out to all areas of the state. During recent significant weather events, we contacted legislatures, participated in a town hall, and conducted collaborative meetings with other agencies. I look forward to working with you and your constituents. Thank you very much for the consideration.
Any questions or comments? If not, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Senator Jackson, but I'm sure you don't mind getting out sooner.
Not at all, sir. Thank you.
Okay, let's go back to Higher Education Commission and Dr. Salmon and Senator Eckert.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Madam Vice Chairman, and members of the committee. I'm delighted to be here today to offer Dr. Karen Salmon for nomination for the Higher Ed Commission. As you all know and are familiar with Dr. Salmon, and you may not know that she was raised in Hartford County, grew up and went to the Hartford County schools, went to the University of Maryland, started her career when I started my career in politics in Caroline County, and then moved on over to Talbot County, wound up being the superintendent of schools there, and then went on for a bit of a next experience with the governor and worked as the state superintendent of schools. If you look at her resume, you will see that she has had a variety of opportunities to be on various commissions and task forces and work group. She's extremely sensitive to the special needs, special population, and is very much concerned, I believe, in how we transition as she brings her high school experience into higher ed. And I think more than ever before, our workforce needs are overwhelming, and I think she brings that level of expertise that will be very useful to the team moving forward. So I say, please nominate her for this position in MHEC, and thank you, Dr. Salmon.
Thank you, Senator Ecker, and it's very, very nice to see all of you in person and not on a screen tonight. And Chair Young and Vice Chair Beidel and all of the friends that I've worked with so long, I'm just happy to be here tonight. I'm glad that I didn't have 19 budget hearings this year with any of you, so this has been a really wonderful thing to sit through tonight, to listen to all these exceptional people that have been nominated for these particular committees. And I do thank Governor Hogan for his nomination. I look forward to working on the Higher Ed Commission. I think we have partnered for many, many years with Higher Ed to see what we can do in terms of our P through 20 initiatives. I know Senator Pinsky has been very involved in that since the very, very beginning of that. And so I look forward to doing that stretch with looking at our workforce needs, looking at affordability of college and careers for our young people, and I would be happy to answer any questions anyone has for me.
Senator King?
I don't have a question, I just have to say you look so rested. And it's wonderful to see you, and I'm just so happy to hear that you're still going to be involved in education in Maryland, because I know you have so much to give, so I wholeheartedly endorse your placement.
Thank you, Senator King. It's amazing what sleep will do.
Okay. I see no other lights, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone.
And there's still one person here on, just noticed on JPR, and where are you here? Yeah, I know, it's Senator Bailey. I'm just looking to find it.
31.
Oh, all the way at the end. Okay, Jody's Stanalonis, Senator Bailey. And Senator Bailey, whatever that important vote was, you missed it. It's over.
Well, it might have been a good thing. So, good evening, Mr. Chairman, and good evening to the distinguished members of the committee. This evening, it is my pleasure to get to introduce you to Mrs. Jody Stanalonis. I'm going to talk to you a minute about her, but I want you to know that she and her husband, who's been here before us, he's a judge in our county, but they are very good, upstanding citizens in St. Mary's County, and it's my honor to be able to support the nomination to the Maryland Stadium Authority. Jody's worked for the past 26 years and has an extensive and diverse leadership experience. She's worked with development knowledge, process and human resource personnel management abilities, and she's got formalized financial management experience. She is the Vice President of Corporate Operations for Air Combat Effectiveness Consulting Group. I support her nomination. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Senator Bailey, for your introduction and your kind words. I'd also like to thank Governor Hogan for the reappointment to the Maryland Stadium Authority. And thank you to the committee for your time this evening. I know it's very precious. As Senator Bailey said, I bring over 30 years of financial and contractual experience to the Stadium Authority through supporting the U.S. Navy as a government contractor. I would also like to say that I appreciate the hard work and dedication of the Maryland Stadium Authority employees. I have enjoyed and had the pleasure of being on the board since 2016. And to include that, I also sit on the audit committee for the board as well, which I have thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you again for your consideration of my reappointment, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, are there any questions? Apparently not, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Senator Quarterman, your appointment came a good way. So the Maryland Public-Private Partnership Marketing Corporation, Sala Allegret Bartel.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair and colleagues. Again, for the record, Senator Paul Quarterman, District 2 of Washington County. I am pleased to have the opportunity to introduce you to Ms. Sela Allegret Bartel, who has been nominated to continue to serve on the Board of Directors for the Maryland Public-Private Partnership Marketing Corporation. She is the founder and owner of International Corporate Training and Marketing. Originally from Cuba, she has lived in the United States since 1966. She's the founding member of the Mid-Atlantic Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in Washington County. She's also served on the Washington County Chamber of Commerce Executive Committee and on the boards of Horizon Goodwill Industries and Washington County's Convention and Visitors Bureau. Her vast experience of marketing, data management, and communication proves to be not only a true asset to this committee, but also to the other boards that she has served on in the past. Therefore, I fully support her nomination, and thank you again here this evening for hearing her.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Senator Quarterman, for the introduction. And thank you to the chairman. I would like to thank Governor Hogan for my nomination to the Maryland Marketing Partnership Board of Directors. I would also like to thank the Executive Nomination Committee for their time and consideration. And also would like to thank Tom Ryford for his recommendation. Being a Maryland Marketing Partnership Board member affords me the opportunity to better serve the state of Maryland. My job as a board member will be to promote Maryland as a business-friendly state with many opportunities for small and large businesses, not only within Maryland, but also out of Maryland. Maryland is open for business. Any questions? I'll be glad to answer any question from them.
Is there any questions, comments? If not, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Finish the Stadium Authority. Senator Patterson, Minerva Riddick. Jump around, I'll be finished before we get back in order.
Good evening to all, and Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee here. I am ecstatic and excited to have the honor to introduce this next nominee, one that I have known for many years, who has probably lived in the district maybe a little longer than I have, but she is a stellar in our district, 26th district. She's a graduate of Norfolk State University, and and did most of her graduate work at Old Dominion University. I believe she served on the bank, Chamber of Commerce. She's just an all-around good servant, if you will. I should tell you, when I was on the county council, I used to host a community health fair. And this lady, who was hobbling, I think it was a toe, a leg or something, she could actually, I had to get her a chair a couple of times, but she wanted to be there and be a part of it so badly. She came, and believe it or not, she stayed just about all afternoon. So I am just delighted to have her as my friend, to have her as a servant and a supporter in my district, and I just ask that you make sure that you vote for her twice. Thank you, Ms. Reddick.
Thank you, Senator. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Madam Chair Lady. I am Minerva, and members of the committee. I am Minerva Reddick. I live in Prince George's County, where I've resided for over 40 years, 40 plus, and the entire time in the 26th Legislative District. First of all, I want to thank the governor for my reappointment to the Maryland Stadium Authority, and I'd like to thank this board for my consideration. I enjoy the work of the Stadium Authority. I've, as I said, been reappointed and have had a long run with them. I currently serve as the chair of the Audit Committee. It's a job that I enjoy. I love the volunteer work. I do a lot of volunteer work in my committee. I know you have my resume, and I'm available if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And all the work you've done with the U.S. Department of Justice and so on, you represent us well. I'm impressed with your companion who's with you also tonight. It shows you hang out with the right people. With former State Senator Gloria Lawler stand, and then she also served us a term as Secretary of the Department of Aging, and Minerva was right in there making sure she got federal support and information to make sure that in Maryland we could be one and be better than we were when she came in. Thank you, Senator.
Yes, Senator Griffith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would be remiss if I did not add my comments to those of Senator Patterson and Senator Kelly. I'll tell you, having been in Prince George's County since the 80s, there are a handful of women who really paved the way and served as trailblazers and leaders in government, in education, in public service, and Minerva Riddick is one of those women. And as Senator Kelly mentioned, she's accompanied by a couple of others from District 25, Aretha Bridgewater Sims, and then Senator Lala. These women, along with a few others, really carry the banner for Prince George's County women and have just been tremendous role models for me and examples. So I'm pleased to add my support to your nomination, Ms. Riddick, Minerva, and look forward to seeing you in the community and seeing tremendous work from you moving forward. Thank you.
Okay. Senator Rosenpfeffer.
Yeah, I just wanted to say amen. Ms. Riddick and I have worked together very closely over many, many years, and we really appreciate all your leadership.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Senator Alpha's not on the board and has been waiting a long time. I'm going to let her finish, and then we're getting close. I'll finish the agenda in order. Okay, let me find your first one here. Public-Private Partnership Marketing Corporation, Henry Falwell, and Senator Alpha.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I feel like I'm just here today to introduce old friends. Folks will remember Mr. Falwell from his years working with former Governor Ehrlich as press secretary, communications consultant. After that, he went on to found and run his own private communications firms. So he is very versed in marketing and exactly the right thing for this board. He's also obviously an avid volunteer in our community, working with the Annapolis Lighthouse Shelter. And with that, I ask for a favorable report on his nomination. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator. I appreciate it, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, for your time this evening, and thank you, of course, to Governor Hogan for this reappointment to the board of the Maryland Marketing Partnership. I'm proud to be a lifelong Marylander, proud, as the Senator said, to own a small business here in Anne Arundel County, going on 11 years now. And if I am confirmed, I pledge to do all that I can to continue making Maryland the best possible place to grow a business and create great jobs for the citizens of Maryland. So happy to answer any questions should you have them.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or comments? I see none, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And we'll go to the Lottery and Gaming Control Commission. Diane Krogan, Senator Elfreth.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Colleagues, another friend to the General Assembly. Ms. Krogan has a long history of working both at the county level, so she deeply understands county government, working for former County Executive Steve Shue, and in various positions throughout state government. Most recently as Deputy Chief of Staff to Governor Hogan, where she oversaw all the health and human services related departments and was a key advisor on operations during the COVID-19 pandemic. She now is Vice President for Community Engagement at the University of Maryland, Baltimore Washington Medical Center in Senator Vidal's district. I see her light on already. And lastly, she is a very engaged citizen. She is on the board of the YWCA. And I believe you're up for chair soon?
I just served as chair.
Just served as chair. Just served as chair, and she, in that role, you'll recognize they just opened the latest violence shelter for women and children. And next, you've also been very helpful in guiding what will soon to be the first in the state's trafficking center for young women survivors of trafficking. So she's storied career already, and she couldn't be more qualified for this role, and I highly recommend her nomination.
Okay.
I want to start by thanking Governor Hogan for my nomination, along with the committee members here today for your time during the confirmation process. I'm looking forward to serving on the Lottery Commission and working with other commissioners and the staff to support state programs and services for our community. And lastly, I'd like to thank Senator Elfreth for her kind introduction.
Senator Vidal.
Thank you. Thank you, Diane, for agreeing to do this. It's been a pleasure working with you. I think Senator Elfreth stole all my thunder about the YWCA, but your work at the hospital already in the short time that you've been there has been really amazing. So it's been great communicating with you, and look forward to working with you on the Lottery Commission.
Thank you, Senator.
Senator Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to second this nomination. We go way back when I was minority leader in the House. Diane helped our office out considerably, so I tell people, you notice all the things she's done. She went up the ladder, that I helped her move up that ladder. She does a great job, and she'll do a great job on this commission.
Thank you, Senator.
Okay, thank you, Senator Reedy.
I was just going to second, but Senator Edwards made a good comment, but we were staffed together at the same time. She was a couple steps ahead of me for staffing, for sure, but it's great to see you, and I know you'll do a great job on this commission as you've done for the state and Anne Arundel County as well. So.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, very good, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Senator Eckert.
Me too. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go back to the Board of Appeals, Airport Zoning, James Osborne Jr. and Senator Salmonere.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to introduce Jim for reappointment to the Board of Airport Zoning Appeals. I told him when he came in, I said, the good news is you're number 3 on the list. I forgot to tell him the bad news that we skip around, but he's been waiting. He's one of the nicest gentlemen you'd ever meet. He's already done 2 terms. He's very experienced. He's worked in the airport, aviation. He worked with TWA, for those who may remember that airline, and also American Airlines. One of the interesting things I found out was he would arrange flights, and he was able to arrange a flight for the Pope when he came over to the United States, and he actually got to fly back to Rome with him and had to talk with him on the airplane. So, but in any event, he's done a great job, and I highly recommend him.
Okay.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank the governor for appointing me to this position. I'd like to thank this committee for their process, involved in the process, and especially Senator Simon Ayer. As he mentioned, I have 37 years in the airline business. One of the big focuses I have in my life is airline safety, and that serves me well on this committee with the Board of Airport Zoning Appeals. Thank you.
Wait a minute, don't let him go.
Okay. Senator Kelly?
Yeah, I have a question for you. There are a lot of people concerned down here, and there's legislation before us this term regarding homeowners who are living through hell because of impacts from the airport. Howard County, a few in Montgomery and a lot in Anne Arundel County. Broken roof tiles, broken windows, can't sleep at night, the noises. What about the idea of you guys buying up those homes and creating a state park on the airliners or something? Because you've got people in 3 jurisdictions who've been before our committee really saying life is hell. A lot of them were seniors who are too old to get up and reinvent the world for themselves, and they can't even sleep.
Well, a lot of that situation doesn't fall within my realm of responsibility. However, I will mention to you that I've been a member of this committee for the board for almost 3 terms now. And one of the big things that's happened during that period of time is the airline, as far as changing the engines on their aircraft. And probably it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 50% reduction in noise around airports. That doesn't help some of the people who live in that area. But like I say, the only thing I can say is I'm not involved in that process.
Well, go back and tell your colleagues they need to take a look at it. We've had county executives from 3 counties complaining. It's not just the elderly people who've been testifying. They really are complaining that life is hell, and you're getting ready to expand some more, which you should. So think about talk to whoever is running the place, and let's do something to help people in Maryland, in 3 counties, who find life almost unbearable because of the noise and the interference with normal life, and the destruction of their homes even, okay?
Okay, I will tell you I will do my best to pass those comments on to those people that are involved in that process. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Senator.
I just want to, Jim, it's nice to see you here. Happy to second or third the nomination for your reappointment, and thank you for all the things you also do in the community. We
Thank you very much.
Okay, anyone else? If not, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the Industrial Development Financing Authority, number 11. Can pronounce this right, Richard Omnach. That's me. He currently is the Chief Commercial Banking Officer for Woodsboro Bank in Frederick, where he leads and manages a team of 8 that's the primary revenue driver for the bank. Thank you for approving my mortgage 6 months ago. He's also an adjunct faculty member for Georgetown University, and after graduating from William and Mary with a bachelor's in economics and University of Tennessee with a master's in urban planning, he began a career in banking, and he's been there since 1995, advanced through 4 Maryland banks, then moving to Woodsboro Bank in Frederick County. And he's on several boards, including foundation member of the Baltimore-Washington Corridor Chamber, and he's very involved in the arts and culture and economic empowerment and poverty alleviation. Proceed.
Thank you, committee members, and Chairman Young, good to see you again. Thank you to Governor Hogan for the appointment. Appreciate your time and that kind introduction. As was said, I've been active in Maryland banking for most of my career, about 25 years, working with commercial businesses, and I'm honored to be nominated for the MIDFA board, and would look at that as an extension of my service to Maryland and its business community. And I'll stop for any questions.
Okay, are there any questions or comments? If not, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And on the same board, Luna Prim and Senator Reedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. It's great to be before you tonight to introduce someone who's been just an invaluable member of our community in Carroll County for many years. Luna Prim, she is now retired, but spent many years, and it's in her resume, for 10 years she was Executive Vice President and Chief Lending Officer at New Windsor State Bank in Taneytown, and before that she was Area Executive for BB&T for Carroll County, Maryland, Senior Vice President of Carroll County bank and trust company, and a lot of experience even before that working in our banking community. But really what stands out the most about Luna and her family, and she and her husband Lee both have been extremely involved. She's been on the Greater Westminster Development Corporation. She's on the she's been on the Carroll Hospice Board. She was the winner of the coveted Good Scout of the Year award for Carroll County from the Carroll District for the Boy Scouts. And let me tell you, that is a hot ticket. You want to be the Good Scout of the Year award. I have not won it yet. I think you might have to wait till I'm out of office, which might be sooner rather than later, depending on how this goes tonight. But I wanted to really just take a moment to spotlight Luna because she would be an outstanding addition to the Industrial Development Financing Authority, brings extensive management and public relations experience, as well as really experience across the sectors of commercial, residential, and retail. So without further ado, I would introduce Luna Prim and ask for you to give her your full support.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. I want to thank Governor Hogan for the nomination. My passion has been banking and commercial lending in particular, 52 years of active lending and retired, but I now serve as a board member for Farmers and Merchants Bank, and I'm back in lending. Small business, large business, any way that we can help them. That's what my passion is. And I would thank this committee for your favorable consideration.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to jump down to the last one. Senator Jennings isn't on the board, and he's very last. Let him get up. University of Maryland Medical Systems Board of Directors, Dory Bishop Kelso.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Senator J.B. Jennings for the record, Baltimore and Harford County. It's my honor to bring before you Ms. Dory Kelso. Ms. Kelso is a graduate of Towson University. At the time, I guess it was Towson State University. We've changed the name since then. She's been a practicing CPA for 40 years. Extensive background in numbers, accounting. She served on various boards within the accounting world. She's been a treasurer on various nonprofits, and she's being nominated for the UMS board. And I think it's very fitting that we have an accountant who's going to sit on that board. So with that, I strongly encourage your support for Ms. Kelso. Ms. Kelso.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Jennings. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee for your time tonight. I believe you all have a copy of my resume, and it outlines my professional experience. Just as an aside, my very first job in 1973 was as a cashier in the cafeteria at St. Joseph's Hospital. So it's fair to say I've been working with dollars and numbers ever since. What this resume does not tell you is I am a lifelong resident of the state of Maryland. And as such, I have seen firsthand the critical role that UMS plays in servicing the health needs of our communities. And they do so year after year and consistently, impeccably done. It's really an honor to have the opportunity. I'm excited. I'm eager to learn about the system and its facilities, and I am excited to play a role in the oversight and guidance of this great institution. I'd like to especially thank Governor Hogan for his faith in nominating me, and again, I thank all of you for your time and consideration. And I'll answer any questions anyone might have.
Okay. Senator Lamb.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Ms. Kelso, for appearing before us. Obviously, you're aware of some of the challenges that the University of Maryland Medical System Board has undertaken and seen over the past couple of years, including the involvement of the legislature to try to help remedy some things that were occurring. It seems as though the board has done a lot of work to try to clean things up as part of their process and better oversight over some of the efforts that are undertaken by UMS. Can you provide us some reassurance that you'll take a clean look and also be an impartial gauge of some of the efforts that are currently undergoing and also future efforts that will be undertaken by the board as well?
Yes. Thank you for your question, Senator Lamb. As a CPA, I have had, as a requirement of my licensing, every year we're required to take ethics as part of our professional education, continuing education, every year, and that's been for at least 20 years now. So, every year I'm taking the ethics. I'm also, as a CPA, fully experienced and aware of the conflicts of interest, of independence, which is a huge part of our role as a CPA. And, we write internal controls, so I feel that in my experience as a professional CPA, I'm fully aware of the need for independence, and I'm aware of the conflicts of interest policy of UMS. I've read their 10-page policy, and I'm happy to see that they're focused on that. And, I hope that speaks to my ability to answer your question in regard to that.
Okay, thank you. And I hope you'll urge that you continue to be vigilant when you join the board to be aware of some of those conflicts of interest, the independence, the need for that independence, because I think that's where some of the things went awry in the past. So thank you.
Understood. Thank you.
Senator Eckert?
Thank you very much, and I would just second the nomination for Dory. We worked together in the Maryland Behavioral Health Advisory. We're kind of shared co-chairs of the Planning Committee, and I can assure you she has a very sharp eye and a very critical mind as she questioned a number of the practices in the budget and a lot of aspects as we developed the behavioral health plan for the state. So thank you, and I appreciate that experience to have worked with you, and I know you'll do very well and be very much an eagle eye on the board of the University of Maryland Medical System.
Thank you. Thank you for those kind comments.
System.
Okay. Senator Hayes?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and welcome, Ms. Kelso. As you know, University of Maryland, main campus, Midtown campus, shock trauma, all sit in the 40th district, and so I've only had a chance to meet you just briefly, and I'm assured by your leadership and your contributions. I do know your other half very well as chair of the Maryland Stadium Authority, and over the last couple of weeks, I've had an opportunity to view at least 24 meetings and ad hoc meetings, and so he's been a very good leader, and if that's any indication of your leadership and contributions, we look forward to your contribution and your bravery to step up at a time where the system has come under so much pressure. Thank you so much for your commitment.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? If not, thank you very much. And we've got 4 more people on the Marketing Corporation, Board of Directors of the Maryland Public-Private Partnership Marketing. And Senator Gallion, I'm going to let you go first, so you can go. J. Thomas Sadowski.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, committee members. For the record, Senator Gallion here, representing District 35, to introduce Mr. Tom Sadowski for renomination to the Board of Directors of the Maryland Public-Private Partnership Marketing Corporation. Mr. Sadowski has over 30 years of experience in economic development and more than 20 years' experience working with governing boards, managing professional staff, and maintaining operating and capital budgets and leading fundraising efforts while utilizing a variety of federal, state, nonprofit, and philanthropic resources. Mr. Sadowski currently serves as the Executive Director for MEDCO, the Maryland Economic Development Corporation, and also had experience of getting to know him a little bit while he worked as the Executive Director of Economic Development in Harford County for 7 years, where he did a terrific job. So at this time, I'd like to introduce and welcome Mr. Sadowski and ask for your all support in his renomination. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator, members of the committee, for considering my renomination. It's been an honor to work as part of this corporation, as you got the chance to meet a lot of my colleagues just earlier, but I'm hopeful that you'll favorably consider my renomination. I'm thankful that the governor chose to give me another shot at serving on this esteemed board. I think it's a very important time as Maryland emerges from this pandemic. I think there are just tremendous opportunities that lay ahead, and I think this marketing corporation can really be a significant player in helping to leverage the many assets and opportunities I think that are before us. So thank you very much for your consideration.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, comments? If not, Leonard Rayleigh, Senator Rosenpep, and then I think looking at I think looking who has the last three, I might be in trouble. I don't know. Just kidding.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As the committee can see, I dressed up for this presentation.
Wow.
Mr. Raley has been a friend of mine for a long time. Worked very closely with him both at the University of Maryland College Park and the University System of Maryland. As you can see from his background, he has a fabulous professional experience in fundraising and communications and exactly what this organization does. And so with that, I strongly endorse his nomination to the board.
Okay.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. I'd like to thank Governor Hogan, Mr. Chairman, Madam Vice Chair, other members of the Nominations Committee, and Senator Rosapep. I'd just like to say this is probably one of the most important initiatives with which I've ever been involved. You have no idea the amount of traction that this particular corporation is getting, this Maryland Public-Private Partnership. To think about the fact that businesses are stepping up to partner with us with their private resources because they see the value in this whole initiative for this Open for Business, Maryland Open for Business campaign. And I had no expectation to be renominated, so that came as a surprise. I was thrilled because this has probably been one of the most exciting things I've ever been part of. I ask for your consideration, and I just want to let you know how proud I am of everything that y'all do as a citizen of Maryland. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? I see none. So President Ferguson has the next two. Angela Sweeney first.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Madam Vice Chair, members of the committee. It is my pleasure to introduce Miss Angela Sweeney, who for many years worked for the Peterson companies, but has an unbelievable history working in commercial real estate marketing. And so, this is a very important board trying to, again, as we are emerging out of this pandemic, that it's all about telling the story, and the story matters so much, and it's why Ms. Sweeney has been so successful throughout her career. I strongly endorse her candidacy and appointment to this particular board, not the least of which is that she's now joined a recent venture, which is one more time? Imaginuity, and a new platform that's going to help market that, from that expertise will help to market the state of Maryland moving forward. So strongly endorse her candidacy. Thank you for your consideration.
Good evening. I'd like to thank Governor Hogan for nominating me to serve another term on the Maryland Marketing Partnership Board. And I thank you all for your time and consideration this evening. As a lifelong Baltimore and Maryland resident and a graduate of Towson University, I had to give a shout out to my alma mater since we've been talking about our colleges here today. I've been a lifelong cheerleader for the state of Maryland, and it has truly been an honor to put the marketing and communications expertise that I've developed over the course of my 25-year career to work marketing the state of Maryland and spreading the word that Maryland is truly open for business. So I thank you for your time tonight and your consideration, and I will be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Are there any questions?
Thank you very much.
I see none, so thank you. And next we have
We market well in the Fighting 46.
Aaron Tamarchio.
Tamarchio, yes.
Tamarchio.
Mr. Tamarchio, yes. So this is
Okay.
thank you, Mr. Chairman, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I think I have been up in front of this committee probably for maybe 4 or 5 other appointments for Mr. Tamarchio because he is such an incredible asset to the state of Maryland. Many of you all know him very well in the work that he has done through Trade Point Atlantic. That's just his most recent career. Has a storied career in government and marketing and telling the story of large projects and how to move the ball down the field to really create real economic development. But most importantly, he and his husband I see almost every week somewhere in the district, be it at Fells Point Marketplace or going to the gym or one other place or another. So a wonderful appointment to this board, and so pleased to be able to present him for his reappointment.
Thank you, Senator Ferguson and Chairman and members of the committee. I want to thank Governor for the reappointment to this board and being part of a major project like Trade Point Atlantic. We see firsthand the impact a good messaging campaign can have to support growth of the state of Maryland. And it's been a great pleasure to be a part of this organization from its inception and seeing the mission carried forward over the next 4 years. So I appreciate your consideration for my reappointment, and thanks again for your free time this evening.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Any, no comments, questions? All right. I didn't intentionally put this one to last. We have one more and then voting, and then Senator Kelly, Senator Edwards, and I will be released from this committee, and the rest of you will be put on parole till next year. So we have the Maryland Parole Commission, Anthony McAllister. Senator Griffith.
Thank you very much. Melanie Griffith, representing Legislative District 25 for the record. Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Mr. President, colleagues, it is my pleasure to be here to introduce those of you who haven't had the pleasure of meeting Mr. McAllister, who is a nominee for the Parole Commission. I recently met him, but I have to tell you, before I had a chance to speak with him, my phone started ringing with people from Prince George's County saying wonderful things about this young man. He already has, at his young age, over 3 decades of experience in parole and probation. He's well known to the courts. He's worked and been trained in juvenile drug trafficking. He's been trained in working with sex offenders. He's done counseling. He's done mentoring. He really does have a grasp of the issues that he will deal with in this position. And many of you received an email from him where he shared about a tragic loss that he experienced. And I was so impressed to learn that his response was to serve even more. So he's been doing work through a foundation and with nonprofit. He and his wife have just done so much for the community and given back so much that it is my pleasure to nominate him and to ask for your support for Anthony McAllister. Thank you.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to say good evening to the Maryland Senate Nominations Committee. I humbly ask your consideration of the appointment to the Maryland Parole Commission. I want to thank my state senator, Melanie Griffith, for that warm introduction. I want to give honor to God for the opportunity to continue my life of servanthood as I serve the citizens of the great state of Maryland. I want to thank my wife of 30 years, Tyrese, for always encouraging and supporting me. I want to thank Governor Larry Hogan for this awesome appointment to the Maryland Parole Commission, as well as Secretary of Public Safety, Mr. Robert Green. And lastly, I want to say that I am looking forward to working with Chairman Bloomberg and the entire Parole Commission as I bring my 30 years of working with young adults and families to the Parole Commission. I want to thank you for your time, and I'll be glad to entertain any questions.
Okay, any questions or comments? Senator Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Obviously, you know we've made some shifts in responsibility and have reformed some of the way we do with parole and the responsibilities of the commission. And in doing so, we often cited the caliber of the members of the commission, and you are exemplary of that caliber, that high caliber in class. So sterling reputation, stellar qualifications. So just thank you for stepping up.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? If not, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that concludes the meeting, and we're all set to vote. It's our last meeting, yes. We have one person that's not on the agenda that we heard, and without any objection, I'm going to add for approval, and that's John Martin to the Lottery Commission.
Should I make the motion? I'd like to make the motion that we approve all the people that we heard from today and the statewide nominees that are on our list, as well as adding Mr. Martin to our nomination.
Have a second?
No, okay.
No?
Yeah, I wanted to separate out number 29, separate out.
Separate number 29?
Separate out one.
Okay.
When will we vote again? We just separate, okay. So we'll vote on everyone except number 29, okay.
Senator Patterson?
Mr. Chair, I want to thank you for allowing the space for me to talk with Mr. Martin about the lottery overall system, being chair of it. Found it very interesting. A little bit reserved, but I think he has a plan of action because he's just coming on board, I believe, as chair. So while I did ask to hold it temporarily, I'm in full pledge of support to move forward on this nomination.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we had a motion and a second to approve, to hold number 29 and to approve everyone else. All those, oh, I'm sorry, Senator King.
I just wanted to make a comment and second what the good senator is saying for John Martin. I think he'll do a fine job.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have a motion, a second on everybody but number 29. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, we will move to number 29.
I'll make the motion that we approve number 29.
A motion and a second, discussion.
Mr. Atman on the Maryland Stadium Authority.
Okay.
Atman on the Mr. Atman.
No, we're voting.
We're voting.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One opposed. Okay, I think that concludes everything, so thank everybody for working with us this year, and this is our last meeting.
Talk to Boris about that.